Yes, I joined the Home Guard when I was working for Rediffusion in 1940, when the Home Guard started, the first week. In those days, you joined in a block. There were about 20 of us in Rediffusion, with linesmen and operators and all, and it was much easier than a band of men getting together and not knowing one another. We joined in the Central Hall, which is now a car park in Orchard Street. That's approximately where it was. And the first night, about 20 of us from Rediffusion went along to join the Home Guard. There was a Regular Army sergeant, I remember there, and it was a question of sign here, go over there and take your gun. Well, this thing was covered in grease. It was a Canadian Ross rifle, and we also had 50 rounds of ammunition, 303 ammunition. And I took it home, quite proud of my gun and the ammunition, and my mother picked it up and threw it out in the coal house. I wasn't going to have a gun in the house. So, yeah, mother was mother, and that was it. But I must have spent about 2 days cleaning it to take it back then in order. Later on, we went to a range, which was in Henryvoyland Woods, just a little bit further on than Lady Edwards' house, and had quite a pleasant day there, which was quite an experience the first time to fire these things. We went on then, progressed in marching. Naturally, there wasn't much transport about, and we got taken on rifle ranges. We got taken in the evenings. I think it was a Thursday we had, and then we got transferred to the Sketty group there. There was quite a lot to organise. And on weekends, on a Sunday, there were always exercises. We were taken down to the Mumbles Road and given instructions on the rocket guns that were installed there, not by the Home Guard, but by the artillery. Now, if anything happened, we could take over these things. We also went down and done a few nights on the battery at the Mumbles Pier, the lighthouse. That gave the artillery, the Regular Army, time to rest. We were expected to go to work again the next day.
Me too.
In the summer of 1942, we had assembled to an exercise which entailed attacking the RAF at Swansea airfield. The Black Watch, a number of men from the Black Watch were guarding the airfield at that time. They changed. In another couple of months it could have been the artillery, but this particular weekend it was the Black Watch. And the Gower Home Guard more or less got told off for leading them across the airfield with all the bogs around. They knew where they were going, but the Black Watch didn't. So they said it was unfair. And the RAF gave us a demonstration of dive bombing. We didn't think that was fair anyway. Some very humorous things happened. there was one particular man that had a bad limp, and he was put in the front one weekend, and everybody in the platoon, 30-odd men, they all had a limp. So he never came in the front again. But other weeks, we'd get the defence of Dunvant Station. Just above the station, there was trenches and machine gun posts that were there. And we were just starting breakfast one Sunday morning when the Black Watch came along and pinched all of it. And we couldn't do much. They were much bigger than us anyway.
So,
oh, yes, yes.
Were you involved in anything with that?
Yes. The Swansea got short of water during the Blitz. So they run, just tell you how invented some of these people are. They put steel pipes along the roads, and where they came to a junction, they'd have wooden, well, what we call dumb policemen now, but to get over these pipes, they were about 4-inch diameter things. You could use these pipes for passing messages, like tapping out Morse code on them. From one point, it was used from the bottom of Sketty Lane, where that house is in the lake there, right up through to St. Helens and that way, and you could have a code and tell what's happening. I also changed home guards because the Central Hall was bombed, and we went along to Christchurch, and I think it's Christchurch, it's near the prison. And we spent that there for a few months as the headquarters. We had to join, then we went on to St. Helens cricket field. We only used that, I think, because we could march on it. And the 3 nights Blitz, I was on a receiving station at Cockett and putting out radio programs. So I didn't see much of the Blitz. But the week after, the receiving station got bombed. Fortunately, they missed. It was a rediffusion hut, and it just had radios that you received whatever station you wanted, and you passed it down to the central control in St. Helens Road. Then it went out from there to 7,000 people in town, that they had a loudspeaker and a switch, A and B programs. And they paid, I don't know, shilling 1 and 3 threepence or something like that. Not, but radios were quite expensive if you could get them during the war. So rediffusion made quite a profit, I should think. It was piped around, more or less like cable is today, but it was overhead wires, like telephone wires. And it was quite a good means of communication, because messages could be sent. When there was an air raid warning, they could get in touch with the police station, and all he had to do was press a button and say that there is an air raid warning in progress. So I was deferred from going to the army for about 12 months through this. I went over on D13. Pretty well everything was all set then. Didn't see Jerry for about a week. And went to the pictures the first afternoon because there was nothing else to do. I was in a frontline recovery unit with Remy. I finished up in Berlin after the war, and I'd done 2 years after the war in Germany. I didn't want to go to the army, but I wouldn't have missed it. It was a great experience. Met some wonderful people.